Rob, does this feel like potentially your last test for the Wallabies, or what's the mindset?
Um, I haven't really given that much thought, really. Just prepared like every other game I have, trying to do my best preparation for the game. But obviously, yeah, I'm going overseas after this one, and whatever happens after that happens.
Would you be wanting to put your hand up for selection if indeed, obviously, you played more than 60 tests to come back? Like, is that something you would voice to staff that you'd like to do?
Yeah, I would like to think I'm always available. But I think when I signed overseas, I thought, I think that's the best way forward. I've always said it's the best to probably be playing in Australia for the Wallabies.
What did you think of the tweaks this year to allow two guys to come back as well for under 60 tests? Like, what effect do you think that will have on guys' mindsets in terms of wanting to play overseas?
If they're considering that, then that's quite confident, isn't it? It's we're a group together. This is a group together now, and I don't think anyone's comfortable in their position. There's some good competition around the squad.
How eager are the guys to finish off 2020 on a high?
Very good. We've been speaking about it all week. Finishing your season with a win always makes into the next season so much better. It makes that season feel a lot better, and going on your break all a bit sweeter.
Matt, playing all 6 tests, was that on your sort of radar, bucket list, 3 or 4 months ago?
Probably initially, to be honest, once I was in the squad, it was a goal of mine to be involved in all the test matches. I feel like I can add something to the group. Whereas probably last time I was involved, I was here more for the, not to say the ride, but I was just stoked to be involved in the squad last time.
How hard to be, mate? The 6 straight.
It's been pretty enjoyable. Obviously, we've had some tough opposition. Every test match is pretty tough. But I haven't found it hard to get up for any game or anything like that. It's been really enjoyable. Test matches are tough, but I love being out there.
Yeah, who's just said before, it's like 2 Super Rugby games in one. Then you've got the emotional highs and lows. We know he does. We're probably more than most. But what's it been like for you in terms of preparation, getting enough time to get the body right? Has it been a real big impact on you?
I can agree with the emotional side of it. I think losing a test match. I remember after losing in Auckland there, it took me a lot longer than usual to kind of not get over that game, but to start trying to put that aside and preparing for the next game. You're playing for your country. You definitely feel like you let a lot of people down when you don't put the performance out that you want to put out there. So not to say that you don't get that feeling with Super Rugby, but it definitely is that little bit more when you're playing for your country.
What are you expecting from the Pumas, mate? We know they're combative at the best of times and quite aggressive, but this has been a pretty difficult week for them as well.
Obviously a few off-field things, but they're a passionate team. Big, strong forward pack, which excites me though. It's a challenge for us forwards between the packs, and they're my favourite games, I guess. So I'm excited for Saturday.
Has there been some talk that they could spill over? There's not much to play for in terms of silver, of course, but given the week that has been for them, it seems like there's a bit of pent-up aggression at least.
It's a test match, mate. Like it's. I know there's no silverware, but again, like I said before, we're representing our country. We want to win, and that's what we're gonna go out there and try and do. If a little bit of emotion boils over and stuff like that, it is what it is, and that's what Test match rugby is. It's pretty emotional. It's for the better.
Rob, if it is 106 or 107 and out, how would you look back on your time in Wallaby Gold?
I've enjoyed every moment, and just tried to do something in the jersey every time I had that opportunity, and hopefully I did that.
Now that the team spoken about it, I know Rob's saying he's not thinking of it, but if this is a chance to make sure he does go out on the right note?
We haven't spoken about that. Look, Rob's played 106 test matches, but I think some of the last couple ones have been his best. So look, I wouldn't be surprised if he's back, especially against the Argies last week. He's brought some stuff in defence, which maybe I was lacking last week. So I thought he played really well. It's up to him to decide, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him back in the gold jersey.
Anything online, guys?
Yeah, Rob, it's Smithy here, mate. I was just wondering,
Dave Rennie was talking about you actually having improved your game, which he was very impressed by, given how many tests you have played. What sorts of things have you been working on of late?
Probably a lot of the body height stuff and stuff around the breakdown, trying to play the game at a lower body height and still have impact at the breakdown there. And that's been a big work on for me. And yeah, trying to improve on that every time.
Why were you not able to work on this earlier? Was it just wasn't pointed out to you, or what's made it such a priority now?
Yeah, I think that's one thing is the now major focus that we have had on it. We've had that probably across the whole squad, and I suppose I've always been trying to improve my game, and there's a lot of things to always be working on, and it's where you give most of your energy, I guess, and that's probably something that I hadn't given enough energy and been giving a lot lately.
Okay, well, good luck, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Rob Christie here. I was just wondering, you've now been part of the Wallabies for a good decade. What gives you confidence that under Dave Rennie, now that you've been under him for 5, 6, going into your 6th, what gives you confidence that the Wallabies are going to have a long period of success underneath Dave Rennie?
I think the detail in our game has gone to a new level. I think, the way the group has probably bonded together in the last 12 months is been like, I think every team's out there trying to put detail into their game and win the physical battle and score lots of tries, but it comes down to the connections you have on the field with each other and how much you're willing to play for each other. And this is one of the strongest groups I've felt that.
Thank you.
Anything else online? Jules, Acco, Smithy?
Actually, Matt, can I just ask another one? You mentioned before how once you'd made the side, you'd set yourself to play all 6 tests. I'm just wondering, what were you thinking before you made the side? Were you actually thinking you might not actually make the team?
It's a bit hard for me to think before that. I think before this test series, I was obviously trying to put my best foot forward, Super Rugby time. But yeah, once I was kind of involved in the squad and had a few conversations with the coaches, it was definitely a mindset shift. For me. I reevaluated my goals a bit and put them a bit higher, I guess. So definitely very grateful to be involved in all the tests.
And do you feel, I don't know, maybe if that process had been done earlier, you might have been able to have the success you're having now at an earlier stage, or this is just your maturity?
I think, like I said before, I think I've really grown into my body a bit more this year. I feel like I'm carrying it around really well. Previous years, I'm a bit of a late bloomer, I guess. In previous years, I was a bit lighter and probably didn't move around the park as well. So I feel like this year I can really add something to the group from that standpoint.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, Simo, it's Acco here, mate. How you going?
Okay, well, thanks.
Mate, just before the test series, there was a lot made about, I guess, a lack of experience in the lock stocks, yourself excluded, when you were nearing 100. But there was, Matt had a couple under his belt, and there was a couple of young guys with people leaving midway through the year. Now that we've played nearly 6 tests, or you guys have played nearly 6 tests, and you're about to go overseas, how do you feel the stocks are as you depart?
I think everyone that's been in this squad this year, in all positions, but yeah, I know you're talking about locks here, has learnt a lot and grown a lot with their game and how this team wants to play the game. So I think it was quite important to almost have some inexperience to then identify where they can grow their game. So that's been a positive. And I've noticed guys that, yeah, so I suppose when you're talking like compared to 100 tests, but guys who are inexperienced are now running around like they are experienced. Matty included. I think everyone's, they've got some good heads on their shoulders.
Yeah, when the Giddo law was changed a little bit to open up to maybe bring in 2 guys that weren't, or 2 players that didn't fit those original criteria, it was all speculated that was going to be room to bring in a lock or two. Do you think maybe now that's not really necessary? We're well served with the guys that are currently here, or is it there's still someone that could be brought back, even if it's yourself or someone else?
It's out of my hands anyway. My opinion doesn't really count, but I don't know. Like they said, that was only for this period. I think, given the year it's been, so may as well just stick to what we know.